it's Brianna.
And Kamryn, aka
Anna
and
Elsa. Oh. Okay. Awkward. We are doing our January wrap-up. I read 11 books and a short story, which is my best reading month since June or July, whenever I started. And
I read 2 and a quarter. The first book I read The Battle of the Labyrinth by...
Oh, wait.
What?
Never mind. Just keep going.
By Rick Riordan, the 4th book in the Percy Jackson series. It's really good, man. It's really good. The Last Olympian by Rick Riordan, of course. And it's the last book in the Percy Jackson series. Then I didn't read, I only read like a quarter of it. Shatter Me by Dyer. Still currently reading this, so it counts a little bit.
Ignite Me comes out in like 3 days. This is probably not going to be in order because I accidentally closed it out, but I think the first book I read in January was Cruel by Jennifer Albin. I think I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. It's a dystopian world set in which these girls, when you turn 16, you are to take a test to determine what you're going to do with your life, and I hate this name. Eldice, sorry, I totally said that wrong, but she's been trained all her life to not be a spinster. But when she goes to take her test, she accidentally uses her gift type thing, and so she's sent to the guild to start her life, and that's about all I can say. I read a short story on my iPad because I'm doing a Read Your Freebies challenge, and one of the freebies I had was The Way Life Was Forever by Carrie Corp. This is a dystopian kind of paranormal kind of book. It was 37 pages and extremely short. Honestly, I can't remember what kind of rating I gave it. It probably wasn't all that great, but yeah, it was short and it was free. Actually, the first book I actually finished was The Summoning by Kelly Armstrong. This is the first book in the Darkest Powers trilogy. I did start this in 2013, but I did finish it in 2014, so it was the first book I finished it. I finished it on January 1st, like that morning, and I was just like, come my first book done. But yes, I thought this was about witches, and that's not what it's about. I gave this, I think, a 4 out of 5 stars. There's this girl named Chloe who is kind of... She starts to hear voices and see people, but no one can see them, but she can. And she starts freaking out, and her mom died, and her dad is kind of hit and miss with her, and she moves, I can't remember where, and she goes to this little teen house thing that her aunt sent her. Sorry, it's been a while since I read this book, but they send her to the Lil house, where it's a bunch of, it's kind of like, what do they classify? They said she has like schizophrenia. They determined she has schizophrenia, but that's not what she has. So yeah, it was really good. The next book I read after Cruel, I read Being Salone Jacobs by Lauren Morrill. This is an art copy, so I finished it either the day before it came out or something like that. It's about these 2 girls, both named Salone, but they use their middle names too. One is Salone Emily Jacobs, and the other is Salone Devon Jacobs. So, Salone Emily is, her family's rich, but they all have their family problems. She's an ice skater, or a figure skater, and when she had her junior nationals, she completely messed it up. And Salone Devon is an ice hockey player, but she has a little bit of an attitude and got into a fight. So both of these girls are being sent to Canada for a kind of training camp before they start their next year and get all these applications for colleges and stuff. And they decide that they hated their lives so much that they were willing to trade places. And yeah, it was a really good story. I gave it, I think, a 4 out of 5. And then the 5th book I read this month was Tiger Lily by Jodi Lynn Anderson. This is a Peter Pan retelling, and it's told from Tinkerbell's point of view, but it takes, the story is based on Tiger Lily, who is like a native to Neverland, and everyone knows what Peter Pan is, so I know that you know what Neverland is. But 15-year-old Tiger Lily is part, what are they? But they never grow old, so she's going to be like 15 for the rest of her life or something. And they're told to never trust or come near the Lost Boys, which is Peter Pan and his clan. And Tiger Lily is betrothed to get married very soon, and she escapes through the forest and stuff and meets Peter Pan. And it was really good. I was crying. I was so mad. I changed my rating so many times, but I ended up rating it in the end 5 out of 5. And then, because I was in such a reading slump and nothing was just catching my eye, I picked up Frigid by Jennifer L. Armentrout, or Jalen. And this is a new adult book in which Sydney, who is our main character, is, I think, about to finish college or just finished college. No, she is about to finish college, and it's winter break, and they're going with her and a bunch of friends to this ski lodge for the weekend or the week or whatever. And she has been best friends with Kyler since they were little, and he's kind of a man whore. Yeah.
Okay.
Kyler and Sydney, they go in one car and the rest of their friends go in another, but Kyler and Sydney make it to the ski resort before their friends do, before the ice storm hits. So Sydney and Kyler are stuck in the ski resort thing until the storm stops, and that's about it. The next book I picked up was Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. I read this with Suna at Kiwi Lover 25, and it was absolutely amazing. 5 out of 5. It's about this girl named Alina. They have always been told to never, they don't want to be the Grisha, which is like the protectors, and they have all these kind of superpower type things. And turns out, Alina, whatever, I hate fantasy books with their name pronunciations, but she turns out to have a very strong power and is part of the Grisha now. And that's about it. The next book I picked up was Onyx by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I did pick this up after Frigid, but then I picked up Shadow and Bone in between this. But this is the second book to the Lux series, and this was just as good, if not better. It was better. It was just so good. If you guys have not picked this up, go pick it up now. Damon Black is all I need to say. Like, seriously.
Oh, yes.
The next book I picked up was Dyer, Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. I did this with a read-along type thing with Ginger Reads Laini. She did a read-along with this book. And, yeah, it's about this girl. I'm gonna butcher the name. Karoo. She has been raised by this guy named Brimstone, collecting teeth. Yes, teeth. Like, real teeth. And any kind of teeth. Human teeth.
Why?
Animal teeth. He's like this, I don't even know what to call him.
Freak.
Susanna. Something like that. Doesn't even know what Karoo does because she says, stop. She, tells her friend that she has to go run errands, but really she's going collecting teeth for her dad. And, yeah, it was really good. That's about the best summary I can do because it's been a while since I read this book.
Have fun. Mm-hmm.
Next, I read Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare. This is the first book in the Infernal Devices, which takes place with Tessa
Jesus.
Gray, I think in 1820, maybe? No, 1878. And she was living in New York City with her older brother, and their aunt, but I think she passed away, I believe that's what happened. And so they moved to England to start a new life, and her brother is nowhere to be seen, and she can't find him. But then these two older ladies called the Dark Sisters are like, hey, we have a note from your brother, and he wants you to come with us to this house, and all that fun stuff. So she goes, and then finds out that her brother's not there, and she has this kind of power, which I probably shouldn't say. And yeah, everyone's probably already read this, but yeah. Next book I read was The Unbecoming of Dyer by Michelle Hodkin. This was my January TBR pick that everyone voted for. I gave this a 5 out of 5, of course. It's about this girl named Dyer who goes with her best friend, a friend, and boyfriend to this broken down asylum that is completely chained up. No one's allowed in. And that's all she remembers. She remembers going, and she wakes up in the hospital to find out that all three of her, people that she looks up to are dead. And she can't remember why and what happened. And so this is kind of her going through figuring out what happened to her best friends and why she can't remember. And then we meet Noah Shaw. He's British, and oh my god. The last book I read this month was The Queen's Choice by Kayla Kruger. I thought this was coming out in February, which it says on the cover. I got this from the publishers, which is Harlequin, back in October or November. I'm a terrible book reviewer, but I finished it the 31st. This I gave a 3 out of 5 stars. It's about this girl named Anya who is a fairy, and her aunt, who is the queen, named Ubeka, whatever, is about to die. And so one of her cousins, Illumina, is set out to the human world to go find their cousin, who is named Zabriel, and they have to tell him that his mom is dying, and he needs to come back so he can be the king of Koyer, which is this fairy world. And so Anya is betrothed to Davik, which was nice to have a relationship already started. And so Anya decides that she doesn't like what the queen is doing, so she goes out to the human world to find Zabriel, because Zabriel and Anya are a lot closer. And yeah, a lot of stuff goes down. And yeah, that's it. But then I read 106 pages of The Evolution of Dyer, which is the second book in the Dyer series. This is just the dust jacket. But I read 106 pages and then realized that The Queen's Choice was coming out. So I put Dyer down and finished The Queen's Choice, but this will probably be the first book I finish in February. So yeah, that was really long. Alright, so we'll see you next time. Bye!
Bye!